What's up, guys? So we're here, we're doing BTS Wings first listen. We're up next, we got STIGMA here. We got STIGMA. First time I'm gonna be hearing this. I just got done watching or doing the first listen to Lie, which was absolutely phenomenal. Super excited to get into this. Doing a completely different format, obviously, doing these live, so I can talk to you guys about them, get info with you, communicate, have a good back and forth. And I've actually enjoyed doing these so much. I kind of want to make it more of a normal thing I start doing with first listens, at least first listens. I might end up doing it with some other things too. I know it sucks that you guys can't see what it is I'm watching, so I gotta look into how to get like a preview screen during a live stream. I don't even know if that's possible, but if it is, I'm gonna figure out how. But for now, this is just like a trial period where I'm having fun, just doing these first listens to the Wings album. So without further ado, I'm just going to get into this. Again, I'm watching these English lyric videos from BTS 9717. I got to make sure to give a shout out. These are really well done. Really well done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just go into it. Kind of like focus obviously on the song and the lyrics. Afterwards, get my thoughts from you guys, and just talk about it for a little bit with y'all. So that's what's happening right now. Are you guys ready? I didn't even think to ask you. I mean, we're involved with this together. I mean, we're in this together. This isn't just me. So I got to make sure you guys are ready before I start. You know, there's more of you than me. But yeah, as soon as I get the first yes, I'm just going to go into it. Let's see. Oh, I kept this intro under 2 minutes. That's going to be great. Sweet. I know the intros typically get longer just because I'm not like editing a whole bunch, and this is a live stream, and I try to wait for a back and forth between you guys. Oh, we got it ready. We're going. All right, here we go. STIGMA. Yo. Only you can keep it a secret. Why couldn't you say it then? At any rate, I'm so hurt. I can't withstand it anymore. Ooh, well done, good sir. That I couldn't protect you. Yo, after watching and figuring out what it's about, this is so much more meaningful. The wounds get deeper like a piece of glass thread. That what? We can't turn back. The feeble who receive punishment for my crime. Doesn't that make sense though? Tell me who has no courage. That's a good question. The feeble who receive punishment for my crime. That's such an interesting lyric. I can't figure it out. Erased. My brother. Yo. Ooh. This is like 3 different people are singing, like with 3 different vocal capabilities. But nope. Nope, it isn't. Alright, V. Alright, V. I see you. That's all she wrote. What? Okay. So 2 things completely blew my mind. First of all, when I was listening to that, for a moment, like I just went into complete silence, and I'm sorry about that, but I needed to absorb it there for a second because I felt like, and I automatically assumed, there were a bunch of different people singing, you know, and they just layered them in. But no, I'm fairly confident. It's just him, right? It's just one person. It's V, right? And the lyrics, okay, so before I get into the lyrics, I need to ask you guys what your theory is about the ending of Blood, Sweat, and Tears, the music video, because that's going to frame how we look at this, you know, and I had an opinion of mine, and eventually BTS themselves started saying what they thought it was, and when there was some sort of reaction that they did to their own music video, they gave some interesting comments too, which I have not seen yet. I have it at the time. Like immediately when I got home from work today, I started these live stream first listens. So I still need to do a reaction to them reacting to the music video, which is reacception, but that's okay. I thought the same thing. When I saw that, it blew my mind. First of all, I thought that that was just representing, at the very end of the Blood, Sweat, and Tears music video, I thought that the dark statue or whatever, I thought that was representing his darker side, right? I thought it was representing evil, the Abraxas, the Lucifer, however you want to put it. I thought that's who it was. And then, when he embraces it in a very erotic way, and eventually we got into the cutscenes, which sort of expounded upon that and explained, Tay, okay, straight up, V was Lucifer the whole time. He was that side. But yeah, BTS said Abraxas when Jin kissed the statue. So does that mean Abraxas is Jin? Or does that mean that V is Abraxas? Jin faced the bad side of himself and destroyed it, but in destroying it, he destroyed his good side too. Man, someone said maybe he made a deal. I didn't even think about that. That's really interesting. He made a deal with the devil of sorts. Jin means devil. So that's something that I didn't even realize, but then I remember back to my Tekken games. Like back in the days when you play like Tekken. Remember Tekken, the fighter game? Jin was, his alter ego was Devil Jin. So they knew what they were doing all the way back then, but that would just make sense. It kind of went into that. V is the devil. V killed his dad and I need you. I'm just reading your guys' comments right now. Jin is not the devil. Nope, but I never thought he was the devil. What I thought was that he was the one facing the dark side of himself. He could have represented any one of us. I feel like that was the whole underlying tone, the main message that BTS was trying to drive home with the Wings album. It was youth growing into adulthood, facing temptation, and the struggles that go along with that, right? And I thought that he was facing, at the very end of Blood, Sweat, and Tears, he was facing that side of himself, facing the dark side. And I thought he decided to go into temptation. I thought he decided to fall for temptation and embrace temptation. I thought that's how I interpreted it. I didn't see that he was trying to destroy that part of himself. I think that he was having inner conflict with all the different parts of himself. He eventually came to terms with those parts. They were all working together, but he still faced temptation regardless, because temptation is irrespective. It's completely independent of your own maturity and your development. No matter if you're the most mature person in the world or you're the most immature person in the world, you're both going to face temptation. Temptation is one thing that you can guarantee, for 10 out of 10 people. But yeah, that's kind of how I represent those symbols there. But his face cracked at the end. I thought Jin is complete, but now he falls apart. My opinion, there were some people in the comments actually of my reaction video. There were some people saying I didn't like this because I felt like it was, evil and it had some, evil symbolism. Like people basically from more of a religious standpoint thinking that it was playing light of temptation and saying like, oh, we should embrace our evil side. I didn't see that at all. In fact, the opinion that I got when watching that was, yeah, he was embracing his evil side. He fell for temptation, but ultimately it started cracking him, started to destroy him, which makes sense, doesn't it? You know, if you end up just going down the dark path and not wrestling against it as we all need to, you're going to find yourself in a completely different situation, completely different path, different life when you follow that. But it says, Chanel says it's really his reflection that's cracking, not him. Yeah, wouldn't that be interesting if it wasn't actually him? It's actually just his reflection cracking. So what is that? The way we view him. So he might be good. He might have just fallen for temptation once or twice, and he's okay, and he's still struggling against it. But the way we view him is permanently flawed. It's a cracked image. It's like when we hear these idol scandals, you know, and these scandals between these different idols, and if they do something wrong forever, they're smeared. You know, their image is flawed. So regardless if they're fine, they're not fine from our point of view, which would make sense, I guess. But it's just really interesting to think about. I remember it completely starting out. Right now I'm reading like a whole paragraph of just the English subs for this song, Stigma. It says, I've been hiding it. I tell you something. Just leave it buried. Now I can't endure it anymore. Why couldn't I say it then? It almost is like he's not lying, but he's hiding something. So maybe back in the last song with Lie, he was living some sort of lie, but here it's not that it's a lie, he's just hiding something, a secret. And I did not notice that the flowers changed in the music video. I completely missed that because I think it was my fanboying of Jin. Like, I just had 100% of my focus on his face. But no, that's interesting. I wonder what that would mean about the flowers, though. I'd have to think about that. It might have some symbolism with the actual book Demian. Did I look up the Nietzsche quote? Nietzsche, yeah, philosopher. I've read some of Nietzsche's stuff. Smart guy. I completely disagree with half the stuff he writes, but he's a smart guy. And that quote that was on the outer lining, that quote in a different language, what did it say? It was, until one has some sort of inner chaos, they can't birth into some sort of dancer, right? I don't know. I didn't say it right, I'm sure, but that's basically what it is. So here it is. One must embrace chaos to bear a dancing star. So that's essentially the same thing. In order to create something extraordinary and abstract and different and unique and interesting, and to create art, you need to have that inner chaos. You need to have and embrace that in order to sort of like ride that shooting star and harness some of it. The problem is, how much do you harness? Can you lose yourself in that situation? It's just really interesting. There's rock stars, you know, that like AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, you know, all these different people, Acid, Poison, people who are just incredible musicians. A lot of them started dabbling in satanic cults. A lot of them started dabbling in witchcraft and started to pray to these demons and different devils and these people, these dark lords and whatnot. So they were doing that in order to get better skills. And you'd have to look into it on your own. It's really interesting. I think a lot of it's hocus pocus, but we do see a pattern with that, where these insanely talented people throughout history sometimes do have links to dabbling within that type of thing, trying to harness the supernatural in order to get some boost of creativity. You know, it births the saying, selling your soul to the devil to, you know, become like the best at what you do. But it's amazing. Did he write this? Did V write? I'm sure he probably did. But I'd really, really like to know that. What do you think of the relationship between the members? It's obviously strong, and when you saw in Begin, that sold it for me with how close these people are. And I was just automatically assuming that Begin was written by the person doing the solo. I thought it was written by him, and it's not, is it? I'm trying to think. I remember someone saying that it wasn't written by him, it was written by partly him and partly some of the other members. And when when the other members heard it, it really moved them. But yeah, writers and composers. V, Slow Rabbit. Interesting. I read this blog. I'm reading your comments, by the way. Michaela says, I read this blog who thought Stigma was about Taehyung's guilt over not being there for his brother and sister because he's gone a lot. That's interesting. And that's something I need to keep in mind, is it's not necessarily just one thing they're trying to get across with a song. They might be trying to do multiple things or accomplishing multiple stories and messages at the same time. They could be saying, okay, let's make some references to the Demian book. Let's get the underlying theme of this album on track, but let's also do some personal notes on my own life. And at the third time, let's do something a little bit more surface, maybe. It's really interesting. I feel like you could go as deep as you want. Truly, you could go deeper than they even intended. But I try to look at it through their lens and think, what were they trying to get across realistically? And if we're going too far, we might just go past what they were trying to intend in the first place. Yeah. There were a lot of lyrics here that were powerful, but I didn't understand 100%. Let me read this. I'm reading the lyrics right now. That light, please illuminate my sins. Where I can't turn back, the red blood is flowing down. Deeper, I feel like I'm dying every day. Let me be punished. Please forgive me for my sins. So what is his sin, is my question. Is it keeping the secret? Is it not being there for them? These people he was talking about? Because he did mention that. And that would make sense with what Michaela said. That he wasn't there for his brothers or his sisters. Just there for his brothers, maybe. Now I'm just reading all your guys' comments. Wow, there's so many great theories here. They're going so quickly. Just when I'm finished reading one, it just like shoots up and all the rest are gone. But yeah. I will say this. I feel like this song wasn't so much focused on the musical production as it was focused on the deep lyrics and focused on his singing abilities, because there was such a wide vocal range that he was just he was destroying. He was just slaying that different vocal range. I thought it was multiple people, but it wasn't. You know, eventually you guys told me it was just him. And that's the focus of the song, you know, the skill and then the lyrics. And that's good for me to know, because then I can just focus on that. It was obviously a very slow song. It's not going to be my personal favorite in terms of how it sounds, because there were some other ones I felt like did some more experimental things, like Lie, that really jumped out to me. But I'll give my thoughts on the very end of this album on which one I thought was my favorite and why. I'm reading a lot of your guys' comments, and I know for a fact that if I just keep going into this, it's going to turn into about an hour, which we can do. You know, this Saturday, obviously, I'm doing a live stream normal time, so if you guys want to talk about it, I'll go as long as you guys want. But in terms of this first listen, I'm just going to cut it off here, and I'm going to go into the very next song. So thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely leave your comments below. When the live stream is published, they just reset comments back at 0. So if you guys have anything to say, any other theories or anything I missed or something that you wanted to tell me about, definitely let me know, and I'll make sure to get to that. I read all the comments. But until then, I will see you guys in the very next live stream, which will be in like literally 4 or 5 minutes. So you can take a bathroom break, go eat some Cheetos, and I'll see you guys then.